and welcome back to the Call of Duty League opening weekend. Maven here, joined by Joe, and we've got a big one. Empire versus Røkkr. I'm excited for this. Two very good teams. It's been a weird day for me, Joe, though. I woke up. I live in Texas. It should be warm. I told you it was cold yesterday. I woke up to snow everywhere, all over the ground. It's very weird.
No, there's a lot here as well. But yeah, I'm in Ohio, so that's normal. But yeah, it's a little bit crazy outside right now.
Yeah, what's going on in the world? But we're ready for a crazy match. We got a big one upcoming. Empire, your reigning champs from the inaugural season of the CDL. The roster is stacked from top to bottom. Let's take a look at the Empire.
Dallas Empire have smashed the gates open. Oh no, Huke is in, you bait. Oh, it's a shot punch. Oh no! Once again, they saved the day.
Well, what more can you say? You've got the reigning MVP. You've got the greatest of all time. You've got all the pieces, Joe, but I mean, what do you love about this roster? What's not to love?
I mean, yeah, all the young pieces, but I just think the mentality overall. I think we really saw it last year with the team, and they keep it going. They just, they're focused as a group, as a unit. It's one goal in mind, and that's to win every single game. It's their grind. It is a pleasure to watch, and we saw it all last year. So far, so good this year.
Yeah, so far so good. The one series they had, they made it look very easy. We'll see what they can do today. On the other side of it, I'd argue the most improved roster when you talk about the changes in the offseason from Season 1 to Season 2. Let's meet them. It's the Røkkr. Minnesota Røkkr. Well, the tough thing for them, they've had the tough matchups. What, you play Thieves, now you got to go up against Empire, which might be the best team in the game right now, arguably. Joe, if they are going to come out and they're going to get a much-needed victory here, who of those four players do you think needs to have an awesome series?
Well, it's Priestahh, right? You talked about maybe the most improved roster. It's the additions of Priestahh and Attach. Why? Because we know that they can be superstars in this league. They absolutely can. But their hard point has been struggling. In the two official matches that we've seen from them, 0-4 in that game mode. Priestahh against the LA Thieves had like a 0.68 and a 0.7. You're just simply going to need more from him. I know we talk a lot about KD a lot, but it's just not good enough. So you're going up to the defending champs. You need your stars to play like stars. So you're looking at Priestahh, you're looking like Attach, that SMG duo to put a lot of pressure on the map. They have to keep up with them.
Yeah, it's weird though. We're getting ready to hop into this one, but like for Priestahh, I think one of the things we talked about a lot at the beginning of his career is just, yeah, this is a superstar. This is a guy that's consistent. But then last year is when that sort of kicked in, right? It's like Phase 1 events when he was playing well, when he was putting up a 0.5, they lost events. I don't know. I want to know what we're going to see this year. But you talked about the hardpoint struggles. We're going to start off on hardpoint. We're kicking it off on checkmate to start things off. iLLeY. POV to kick it off. How in the world are Røkkr going to slow down the Empire train?
Oh, that is the question, right? There's just so many different pieces. I mean, I love that iLLeY's running the flex now. I know there's a lot of focus on Shotzzy and Huke, but I think iLLeY especially could potentially be the most improved player from last year to this year. Why? Because I think last year he was putting a maybe more of a selfless role where he just sort of had to do his thing, but now running flex, his stats could potentially really stand out. Maybe he could be an MVP candidate this year. So that's what's so scary. There's no real weakness for this squad.
All right, well, talk to me about this first hard point. Obviously, set up inside of the plane, you can get control and get time, but second, I know, is where you can really pop off maybe one of your money hard points. What's your focus to get in a good position for that?
I mean, you obviously want to control the right side of the map. That way you see Crim and Huke doing, but the plane, you can earn a lot of time. It is difficult to get inside of, right? When you have your ARs sort of on the outsides looking at the plane. Hop-ups, how do you in there? It's just too tough to. We're going to see iLLeY in one of those positions right now. What's the other way to get in the plane? It's this back staircase, and Shotzzy, he's doing it with the Craig. He's doing it with the 74U. That's 45 seconds on this first hill. They rotate perfectly to hill number 2. The Røkkr are going to have to work all the way across the map, try and break these back spawns. There's already 10 seconds off the clock, and Shotzzy with a 5-0 start.
Yeah, this is one of those hard points when you talk about, favorite spawn sides when they go through the ban veto side. Like, yeah, if you're starting left, you better get a flip or better get some time in first, or you could be in a massive hole early, and that's exactly what Røkkr are facing right now. Empire set up and doing Empire-like things. 3 in a row for Crim, 4 in a row for a Huke, 6-1 and popping off, and Røkkr just struggling to find any angle to get into the point. And we touched yesterday on a map like Garrison how it's a little bit different of a hard point than maybe we've been used to in the past. I feel like Checkmate's kind of an interesting one as well.
Yeah.
What stands out to you the most about this map?
I mean, in a way, it kind of is like Garrison. It's all about the plane. There's not really like lanes. Like there is, but there really isn't. It's just like one long line. Yeah, it's all about mid-map control in that plane. Hoping that this is just spectator side, but so far so good for Dallas Empire. 100 points on the board. Is MajorManiak 0-8 start, not looking great for him. But yeah, this is all Empire.
Yeah, and Major, I mean, we were really excited. I felt like, again, we talk about undervalued, underrated players sometimes. MajorManiak is one of the guys that pops into my mind. Like, I just think he was overshadowed so much with that FaZe roster last year with how many superstars, like MVP candidates they have. But MajorManiak can be a beast. Right now, struggling so much to get going. 130 to 1 right now. And yeah, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if there's a server-side issue that we'll have to figure out or if it's just in the spectator client. But we'll keep you updated as we find out more. But man, as we get ready for our next hardpoint to pop, we get to our 4th hardpoint. Who's going to be there early and set up with map control? Once again, it's Empire. They have Røkkr spawning out far left. And this is a thrashing.
Yeah, it's 140 to 2. And we'll just talk about what we can talk about. Obviously, Shotzzy on another 9 spree, 15-1. I mean, this is perfect Call of Duty hardpoint. The Dallas Empire up to a 10 spree. Does he have streaks? Yes, really does. Up to an 11 spree. Almost snaps onto that player up top of that wing. But yeah, there's not really much set. We talked about their hardpoint struggling, and it's showing right now.
Oh yeah, but this is a little bit different than struggling. This is a scoreline you rarely ever see, whether it's the negative side for Røkkr or positive for Empire. I mean, 17-3 is just absurdity, but there's a reason he was the MVP last year. His improvement over the course of the year, absolutely unreal. But man, when you talk about map control, being on point rotations, running it up in the gunfights, it has just been Empire. First to the point yet again. It's going to be them, but you've got accuracy in the back for the back spawn, so a chance to flood forward in for Røkkr, and it looks like they're going to be able to do so and finally put some points onto the board. Tell you what, they somehow bring this back. Maybe with the craziest comeback maybe I've ever seen, but a big hole I don't think is a good enough of a descriptor.
Yeah, accuracy was able to sneak on through towards that left side, so he actually influenced the spawns, early on in that hill. That sort of leads to this time. What you saw the streak come in, wasn't able to connect, so they'll take that. That's 1 streak off the board for Shotzzy, but Huke, he's able to push through towards that bottom plane, get towards this front wood structure. And well, there's the break.
But this could work out, though. There's not a lot of time left. If you can get plane control if you're Røkkr, and you can chain together 1 and 2, suddenly you're in this game. Suddenly you're in this game, and I've been told there's no issues with the game, so it could be on our feed that we're getting, or maybe the spectator client. I'm not sure what you at home are seeing, but Joe and I were getting some issues. But sounds like we're okay as far as the game goes. So Røkkr, they're just getting blown out.
I was sweating. I was like, oh man, dude. Maven talked about it yesterday. Right away, there's. I was like, oh boy. So yeah, that makes me feel a little bit better. But yeah. Could they get in a plane? That's the question. And the answer so far was no. But finally able to get some pressure. And I'll tell you what, if there isn't any issues, then yeah, that was an insane start. One of the best starts I've ever seen in a hard point. It was a 140 to 2.
Well, that's what can be tough for us too at times. Is like, we're not watching it off the YouTube feed like you guys at home. We have a separate internal feed that we're using, and yeah, something's happening. I don't know. I don't know if it's from the observer, or if it's from the feed I'm getting to me. We're not entirely sure, but sounds like the game is good. So. That is great to hear, and well, but even more reason to gas the start from Empire. Unbelievable from them, but we'll watch Priestahh as he's trying to finesse his life. But second, where Empire accrued every point last time through, they're in setup once again. Soaking up the time is going to be Shotzzy. His teammates trying to layer their map out towards mid, make sure Røkkr can't get any pressure forward or even touch it. And when you have somebody at the hard point that hasn't even had to shoot their gun like Shotzzy over the last 30 seconds, that's probably a good sign.
I mean, there's just been basically what you saw, one rotation that was won by Røkkr, and that's really where they got 40 of their 67 points. They lost 250 to 60 on Moscow. They may lose 250 to about 70 here on Checkmate. So 0-4 so far, about to be 0-5. The Dallas Empire yet to drop a map, and you're just seeing the strengths of this team. Just no weakness at all. Map 1 goes to Dallas Empire.
Well, Empire were the massive favorites coming into this. It's based on expectations and how they played so far, so can't be too shocked from that, especially when you mention the woes of Røkkr. But just an unbelievable start, a blowout. An Empire, I think it was when we did our Hardpoints podcast and we were talking to Crowder. I think, when we were kind of setting up tiers at the beginning of the game, and going through stuff, we kind of had like 4 teams in the tier 1, and I think he was sort of making it sound like, even though he's the coach of FaZe, Empire are the best team. I think he put OpTic up there as well, but he was just like, they are ahead. And, you saw it there in the map 1, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, the fundamentals, there's just so much structure to this team, and then on top of that, you just combo the fact of how skilled they are. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about it a lot, but we're going to check out the stats here from that map 1. It is going to be very lopsided. Your best stat line is 10 and 18 from a stat from Minnesota. On the other side, pick your poison. We talked about Huke. I think he had the #1 KD coming into today. He just improved that by going 25 and 8.
That was... I actually feel bad that I was worried there was an issue, because I would have been gassing that blowout at the beginning even more. That was just... textbook. It was perfect. Every rotation they had on point. They were always in the proper position. Flawless from Empire. Blowout victory in map 1. The search and destroy coming up next after this quick break. Hello and welcome back. All right, so we're waiting to get more information with regards to the map 1. We're going to take a look at the team packs, though, and how glorious and beautiful they are. But yeah, it can be difficult on the fly for Joe and I sometimes to know exactly what the issue is because of the difference of what we're looking at. But to my understanding, it actually, I believe, was a server issue. So I think we're going to be doing a replay of the map. So my apologies.
I see the map loading.
Yeah, so the first information I got is it wasn't, and it was our feeds. So that's my bad. That's what I was told. But yes, we are going to be replaying. It was server side. And that makes sense. That was Joe and I's first instinct, but we just don't have a way to know that right away. So that's my fault. But we're going to get ready to get right back into it. We're going to replay this map. Hopefully Røkkr will get off to a much better start than they did, Joe, without the issues.
All right.
All right. So, okay. So they're I think they're testing stuff right now because I saw they were getting into the map. Okay. So they were testing stuff. So while they're running through and testing stuff, we're going to get ready for a replay. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get to our game fuel keys to victory. We're going to take a look at the Røkkr first, talk about what their plan to victory needs to be. If they're going to beat one of the top teams in the game, how are they going to get it done? Joe, take me through it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the hard point. All right, we had a reshot at checkmate. If they get that going, it's got to be better. We know how good this team can be. When we discuss this, they're going to be a very strong search and destroy control team. They realistically shouldn't have a ton of weaknesses. And if they can just get one hard point a series, I expect them to be one of the better teams in our league. Prestinni needs to be a superstar for his team. We talked about the acquisition, for the Minnesota Røkkr, attached coming along as well. So, yeah, I mean, this is a full team. And then, you know what? If you are struggling in the respawn, try to get one because your search and destroy is going to be solid. We saw that in their first match against the LA Thieves. Get it to that game 5.
Yeah, and well, now hopefully we'll get an actual eye on whether there might be some improvements in the hard point. But on the other side of our game fuel keys to victory, Joe, talk to me about the Empire.
Yeah, on the opposite side is Shotzzy and Huke. They can dominate this match. If Priestahh is going to struggle, then they can simply just take on over. They are combined 1.54 on opening day. That is just outrageous. It's just one game, but it just shows what they can do. I know Shotzzy won the MVP, but Huke's like, hey, I'm still here. I'm one of the best in the world. Stay focused. They played an NYSL that was going through, maybe some roster issues. They played Diamond, his first day. They had 2 3-0s. Games they should have won. You have to stay focused. This is going to be a really tough matchup for them, or should be. So, yeah, that's really it. Lastly, if you win, don't let Crim do the interview. I made a little joke there.
Yeah. Well, just because the last one he did, dude, I swear, either he says something insane, which I love, or there's something with his audio where he's getting like an echo, and next thing you know, he's plugging his ears and taking off his headphones. It appears like there's always something when it comes to Crim, Joe. So as much as I would love to see the interview, maybe we should try somebody else. I'm not sure. But yeah, they're just testing it. To my understanding, it was just a server instability issue. We're going to get into another lobby and get rocking as quickly as we can. So thank you for bearing with us. And we'll try to do better to get you correct information as quickly as we can. Just like I said, sometimes it's a little bit more complicated. And I was just saying what I was originally told. My bad. But for this matchup now, I want to see. It's interesting because, you're dealing with those issues. You're frustrated. Maybe if you're Røkkr, you have to play through the map because usually the situation is you used to work in League Ops. Like until there's like a confirmation from League Ops, if you just like leave the game, it's like a forfeit situation. So you have to play it out. They'll make a decision. They'll figure it out. That's what they were in the process of doing. And that's why you see them playing through the map. But I don't know. How do you view it? I guess if you're on Røkkr side, it's like, phew, all right, we get a replay. That was tough to deal with. If you're Empire, I guess the view's a little bit different.
Well, when I saw the score was 150-2, I was like, there's probably some communication going on.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, I was just sort of rolling with it. But yeah, obviously it's always tough. And just to remind everybody, yeah, we're still dealing with issues online at times. And I'm going to bring this up again. This started once we came on to cast, and you said yesterday that everything has been smooth. So once again, I'm blaming you.
Hey. I mostly was talking about props to our production team and how beautiful everything is looked.
Yeah.
Dude, did you see that Røkkr team intro? I was watching that. Like, how sick was that?
Yeah.
Just like little stuff like that has been. I love just like the graphics of the profile pages for players, or like the team interviews that have been done, or that intro for Røkkr. Like, there's just so many things that like
Well, I
think
would
it just
imagine
looks cool.
that
It just looks good, man.
not every team has one, so that was probably a Røkkr production. But to your point, absolutely,
It was awesome.
It was dope. And yes, the graphics have looked sick. Everything has been amazing. But yeah, it's still your fault.
Yeah, so I've somehow just killed the servers. Okay, well, yeah, that's on me. Well, I'll take the brunt of the blame. I usually do for most situations anyway. But we'll look at the maps and modes now, and this is how it's going to be playing out. Checkmate, Hardpoint, again, a replay. Everything that we talked about, you can completely ignore from the map 1. We'll get back into it and see how these teams actually go toe-to-toe. Moscow searched in 3 garrisons in a row. Is there anything that leaps off the page? I think Minnesota's played the Garrison Control once and they lost it. Empire played it once and they've won it. I think from the stats I was looking at, that's the only thing that really jumped out.
Yeah, I imagine the vetoes are probably a little bit different. Maybe for Minnesota, maybe trying to switch things up. Maybe that's where you see this checkmate come into play. But, you know, they're 0-1 in the hardpoint garrison, 0-1 in control garrison. Not a ton to go off of, but you have a couple of official reps. And on the other side for Dallas, there's not a ton of the maps that they've played besides that control. So we'll see how things go. But, yeah, not a ton of data to go off of just yet.
All right, well, we're getting ready to go into game. Again, they were just checking on the server stability to make sure we can get into a map 1. As they get stuff locked and loaded, ready to go, we're going to head to a quick break. Be right back.
They say credit belongs to the man in the arena who spends himself in a worthy cause. The credit belongs to those who dare greatly And to those that fail, at least fail daringly.
Target terminated.
The glory is reserved for the few who, no matter what, answer the call to enter the arena. The call doesn't care if you fight for 1 or 20,001. It echoes out, reverberating across the globe. It only acts to reach the bold, never the timid. It's what's next, what's now, and what will always be.
Scump from up high. 1, 2. This is non-stop. They've got nowhere to run. It's a massacre. Wow. Airstrike coming in. It's an ambush. The spawns are out of control. This is it. What a round.
The call delivers victory to the deserving and rewards the devoted. For when your time comes, there is only one option. Enter the arena. Fight for the call.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, we have returned and hopefully close to getting back into this game one, a matchup we've been looking forward to all weekend long. But Joe, while we wait just for the lobby to get started, I'm just curious, like, your thoughts overall, kind of from like opening weekend, whether it's regarding teams or just anything at all.
I mean, obviously, it's great to get back into 4v4 COD. I think you and I, once we got, casting yesterday, we just had so much fun casting over the game. So, it's just been a blast so far. That's really team-wise. I mean, it's kind of what we expected. A lot of close matches, but so far our top teams have been dominating. I think this is probably one of our closer matchups that we've been looking forward to. Then obviously we have the big one with OpTic versus FaZe up next. So yeah, we're just all waiting for these two to get started.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be there. I'll be there sooner than later. I think we're getting ready to start. But yeah, I think Thursday, Friday, you saw a couple blowouts, right? But I imagine how a lot of the times it's going to go is, you kind of set some of the crazier matches for the weekend. It's the weekend, more people may be available, able to watch, and that's what you expect. Maybe some wild ones. And this one has the potential. Yeah, the next one, OpTic FaZe. Lord knows how that's going to go. I'm super excited to see that one play out. Yeah, it should be a great day of games, and excited to be back casting with you as well, pal. It was weird. It's like I don't know. I guess sometimes since when you're doing it so long, I just forgot how much I missed casting. Yeah, like just missed casting in general, watching some COD. We're very lucky people. It's a fun job. But here we go. We're loading into it. Checkpoint, hard point.
Checkpoint, huh? Checkmate.
Checkmate, sorry. Checkmate.
Checkpoint, hard point.
Checkpoint, hard point. Checkmate, hard point up. Empire, Røkkr, and I'm imagining we're not going to see a 150-1 scoreline to start this one off, but still, it is going to be that right side map spawn for Empire. They've got the chance to chain together 1 and 2. Let's see if they can do it again.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we're all good. Here we go. Game gets underway, and yeah, sort of what we were talking about. This first hill, you can earn a lot of time, just how difficult it can be to sort of get inside the plane if you can control those outer wings. Watch the hop-ups. That's where you really want your assault rifle players dominating. Shotzzy, he can just play his contest spot. It's a tough gunfight to push. His teammate is able to slide on in, and then he goes for the trade to Shotzzy. That sort of fake game one was on a tear, and he's going to start this one off on 2-0.
I mean, for the most part, it's looking pretty similar to the start we had the first time around. The question is, maybe can they push through for the flip? And, well, I mean, what did you get? 40, 50 points for Empire at first. So it's definitely been much better from a contest position. But you saw number 6 and 8 and Crim and Huke spawn out towards that next hard point. They'll get the entire spawn there. But, yeah, it's a lot different than 50-1 or whatever it was after the first hard point. It's contest heavy in a first central midpoint. That's what you expect to happen more often than not, unless you get complete control. But now let's go to second. This is where the damage can get done. And we'll see as the push comes through, it's going to be attached. It's trying to make the play around the back. He's able to take down Shotzzy. They still hold on, but they get him out of the hard point for a little bit.
Well, and what was important is, you know, at the end of the first hill, they have control, but Minnesota Røkkr, they get some map position, right? They get right up into their faces, and that causes some gunfights. Huke was able to stay alive, so that close spawn, they were one gunfight away from breaking that was the Røkkr, but Huke was able to win it. But they still have pressure. They're still keeping them off that. So what is that? Priestahh on the hill right now. Going to earn some time. 6-4 start for him with that XM4 now in his hands. Just getting this early time from the front of the hill. And, well, that's much better. It's exactly what you want. The spawns, though, do flip. And this is going to be good for Dallas, though, because they can get set up in this plane as we head to our third hill.
We know third can be a bit of a mess. You know, we talk a lot about kind of central hard points in the map, usually chaotic. At least the first one inside the plane, there's a bit of a setup. But here, when you talk about it, I mean, kind of break down third and why it can be such a nightmare to get a lot of time.
There's just a lot of angles you can get shot from, right? If you don't have top plane control, players can drop down on you. Both at the end of the wings, there's sort of a lot of finesse with those mantling up and down, sort of going back and forth, switching sides. It's just going to be tough to stay alive. Are we going to see some teams maybe get better at it as time goes on? Absolutely, and get a setup. But there's just a lot of angles. A couple of nades hit. It's tough to collect that time.
Well, after this, we're going to be heading over to the north side containers on the map. You've got two players there from Røkkr. Going to be battling, I believe, against Crim. They're able to get that kill. We'll get over to MajorManiak's POV. At least for now, Røkkrs have got the spawn top side, but still a mess for the fight for the final 10 seconds of this point. Priestahh looking for an opening, able to find it. Back into the point for some time. His teammates spawning right. All of Empire spawning out left side of the map. We should have some early gun points here, and MajorManiak's going to be the point man. He's going to have some key fights on this side. The trophy's going to be huge. You saw the utility coming in, but the double chow's going to pay off. 3 are going to drop, and that's a little too easy there to get in if you're Empire.
Yeah, that's just the individual plays from iLLeY. They're able to take down 2, allows them to break that hill. But Priestahh, interesting about this one, you know, we talk about sort of the plane dynamic. You control the plane, you can get a lot of angles from that wing onto the hill. Both teams going to be spawning right, one team is going to be spawning left for the most part, but this is what I was sort of talking about. You can sort of look on down. There are some contest spots where you can sort of stay away, but then the opponents are going to know where you're at if they can't see you from that top wing. But the kills come in for Dallas. They're collecting some time as we rotate to our final hill. We're going to see Dallas, who is at number 7 and number 8, spawn on up and head towards that bottom left side.
Yep, and a much, much tighter game. And this is what we had hoped for, and you know, you really called out needing Priestahh to have a big game. So far, he has been lights out. Last I saw, he was already on 15, leading all players in the lobby. But what can iLLeY do now holding the cross? He's got to worry about that top plane. There's another example of the wing. Attach is able to take him out. In the point, still Empire rallying up time, getting close to that 100-point mark. From the front comes the push. I believe that was Attach that was able to get a kill and find some opening to get a presence there near the actual hard point. But just a lot of dead time and unearned points. Like, no one's really been able to get set up inside.
Well, it's just kind of what Røkkr did on the second hill, right? I mean, you have this spawns if you're Dallas Empire, but it's the pressure just towards the front. And I like this from Attach. He's just sort of playing his life inside of here. He's taking his time and just making sure that Dallas can't rack up all the time. So what could have been maybe 40 to 50 seconds is going to be about 20. But there is still a 50-point lead now for the Dallas Empire. You know, you saw Shotzzy just on a 3 spree. Huke now on a 3 spree of his own. It feels like our gun's starting to heat on up a little bit more as we head back to the plane. Right back to our first hill.
Well, you mentioned the lead for Empire. Pretty good effort all around from them. Huke, though, on 4 in a row. The reigning champs looking to put this map 1 win on the board. Let's go to an Astro Listen with Empire.
I'm still the on time.
I'm playing. One's really weak and no.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to left.
Stay down.
Mobbing it. Nothing. B-lane, one bullet. Priestahh. On hill.
Oh, behind us. Full
Where?
bench.
Ball,
That's a major.
Catch 20 quick.
I'm 20 quick.
Alright.
Got 2.
On the mid.
One down.
Yeah, pilot staff. You gotta
Play my life.
One guy's mid plane.
Yeah, top right, Lamar. Cut a weak. Just 2 one time, still. 2 one time.
I needed it.
One's really weak and L.
Oh, yeah, major got me. Back right. I don't know where you went. In hill.
Oh, he's
In hill
credit
and
corner.
Where?
I'll get you. Focus up.
We're good. Yo, one guy was deep right. We gotta kill the guy deep right if we can. Yo, someone work with me right.
Yeah, I'm going.
I'm front. They're playing
They're
steps?
playing up. Yeah, they're playing up somewhere.
There's a guy on me right somewhere. If someone wants to help me.
Back.
Yeah.
I got him right now. Kill the guy right. One
Yo,
was
under
playing
plane
steps.
steps. I'll come. Yo, one guy's in tube.
In tube.
It's a tube. Yeah, he racks that tube.
Oh, where'd he go?
He's at
Stay
army.
alive. Go, Porter. Stay alive.
I'm trying. I
One's
killed
on
him.
me.
I killed him. Oh, what? He's one shot
need
tube. Watch out, right side tube. Right side tube.
Yeah.
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 Under wood hall.
All right, we're
I'm
good.
waiting for his round. I'm waiting for his
One
round.
guy just
Yeah,
ran
yeah,
right side. Got one. Where'd he go?
Yeah, one's
I got him.
tube. Yo, what
Wood
up?
hall.
What up?
I'll knee up.
When we went into the listening, they were up about, what, 50. Now going down 30. So if anything, we kind of heard the comms of them while things aren't going so well. What did you think?
Well, I mean, it was just, you know, who sort of help me out. It's just a tough hill to break. You know, Crim is finally able to earn some time, but with those close spawns, you know, Minnesota Røkkr, they were able to chain 1 and 2 together. They now have the lead. That was just a great transition with those 2 hills. You know, I mean, for the Dallas Empire, you just saw how tough it could be to break that second hill. And you need to find all the right kills at all the right times, and they just weren't able to do so.
Well, and that kind of goes back to Røkkr doing a good job on 2 of the
Exactly,
money
yep.
hills, 2 and 5. Like the fact that they made those as scrappy as they did, and then they were actually able to hold well, that's why they've got the lead. So solid stuff from Røkkr. MajorManiak going off, and I think I said Priestahh was like leading all players with 15 before that. Listen in. The next time I saw stats, like Attach had 19. Priestahh still on 50s. Like everyone else just started popping off over that stretch. And well, when you have spawns and you have control of the hard point, it's a lot easier to get kills and make rallies. But this looks to be a nail biter, Joe, as we're inside a plane, all white arrows around, trying to fight for it.
Yeah, I think it was Accuracy who worked his way up to 24 kills, and it's kind of like you said, there's a lot of power positions with the ARs. It's difficult to always have to break the hills with the ARs because there's those positions that you're just going to have to gun people off of. But when you get the early setups, you can just be such a nuisance as a main assault rifle player. And Accuracy, we know he can do that so well. Nice stuff out of him, but into this 4th hill now, it's pretty much back and forth as Huke here. Trying to control play, now able to do so, and just trying to funnel him on in. He's just hoping his team can break through the front, but Minnesota, they're holding it for right now. Maybe with that kill from aBeZy, they'll be able to get some pressure. Shotzzy hits 1 more. It's just down to Priestahh, but Priestahh hangs on. But Huke is behind them still. Huke able to find a 5 spree. Great stuff from him.
He's going big. It felt like Priestahh did what he could, but what a pinch there from Empire and Huke the Nuke. Up to 25 and 16 and some crucial late scrap time on this hard point. We'll get ready to head over to 5th. Trying to get there early, I think, is Shotzzy, but he's in a flurry of players. Crim trying to fight for the opposite side of it. That's a big one-on-one win against Accuracy. You win the other one-on-one. If that was Shotzzy, he wins his. You've got spawns, controls, and everything, but I think that allows Accuracy to still spawn up in the back. So that means still work for Crim to do. Crim's not able to take it. It's still just a mess in a fight for this hard point, which the first time through we saw not a ton of time earned.
Yeah, and Priestahh's doing a great job. He's just being annoying. He's just wasting time, right? So 25 seconds off of the clock, and it's similar to what we saw where, you know, on the second hill in Minnesota, they got map pressure and just how difficult it is for Dallas Empire, you know, to contest this time. We're keeping them off of it. That's why we're giving them such props on the first set of hills. They have now a 20-point lead. Nice kill out of Shotzzy to get them off time. And now the focus is going to be keep them spawn back there and get on the plane. But are they going to recognize this flip? They should now. Huke gets all the way into this back building. But it's Accuracy and Priestahh with 5 seconds left on the hill. They get the kills. That's going to give them plane control. This is big for Minnesota.
Yep. And we've talked so much about 1 and 2, right? And that's what's going to decide the game here. 199, 184, 15 points separating. If you've got to be able to contest some of this, if you're Empire, you've got to be able to try and get the flip if you can. But so far, so good for Røkkr as they continue to lock it down. Crim trying to put shots in on the wall bang, some damage through, but not picking any up. His teammates, though, and iLLeY and Huke able to take down 2. They are able to flip out 1. So Accuracy is going to spawn out. That key man and MajorManiak, he's got some work to do. He's in a big position. Can Huke get the read? He gets away with his life, but MajorManiak will get the kill.
There's another one back here. It's Shotzzy. Can he win another one-on-one? Not going to be able to do so. But did he buy enough time maybe for his team to work up the middle of the map? Accuracy and Attach, we're trying to fly on through. You see the spawns now so far away from this second hill. It was a great job by the Dallas Empire. They're getting this scrap time. Any kill from this position is great. As iLLeY finds MajorManiak, he's just going to really delay the push all the way to the second hill. That is quite a hike. Now Empire have a chance to win this map number 1.
Yeah, what did I say going into the first point? Like, you got to try and contest it for Empire and then get the flip. They do it perfectly. You couldn't ask for more. That was so well done from Empire. They get the flip. They've got the point. They're a few points away from victory. Røkkr have played it tough, but they need a miracle break here. It doesn't look like it's going to happen for now. The kill feed lighten up with Empire kills. What a solid job there to get the flip to win the game. Empire, despite the replay, it's still a victory in map 1.
Yeah, much closer, obviously, but 250 to 2-on-1. And we're going to take a look at the stats. And kind of similar to what's been going on with the Røkkr. It just feels like when they're losing, there's hard points. There's 1 or 2 sort of standouts that are just having really off games. You got solid ones, I think, out of Accuracy and Priestahh, both with 30+. But on the other end, the other duo and MajorManiak and Attach, I think both around like 18 and 30. You just need more of a balanced effort from the entire team, and that's what we got out of the Empire.
They look good, man. They look good, and yeah, I mean, props to Røkkr. You play them tough, but Empire, they keep on rolling. Let's take a look at the stats from that map 1. Gonna look a lot different than the first time we checked them out after the the server issues with the first map. But Accuracy, big game with 36. Priestahh right there with them. On the other side, get pretty solid games out of everybody, but Huke and Shotzzy really standing out.
Yeah, I mean, how many times were we on board with Huke and he was just playing his life, even with a list, and it was like, I got 2, I'm trying to play my life so they can get some pressure on the hill. Beautifully done. I mean, just those 2, they're going to be a problem for a long time.
But Røkkr, I mean, you got to think this is a team that should be solid in every mode. So you think of 2-3-5, they should not be an easy team to 3-0. Empire, not out of it yet, but they get the map 1 win. Looking good. The reigning champs still on top. We're headed to a quick break for the Search and Destroy.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL 2021 for a special CDL launch event discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listenings are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
Røkkr vs. Empire, getting ready for the Search and Destroy. Empire take the map 1. Now we're going to get into Moscow Search. Go. Opening thoughts.
Oh, Moscow Search. I mean, it's obviously a little bit different. We had the bomb site sort of move on the map a little bit, towards the street to inside the window building. A lot of the focus is going to be on the top escalators, but kind of similar to what we see on Miami. I think there will probably be maybe some early pressure early on, sort of the default hits on defense and attack. But then it's going to be about, how do you sort of maybe throw those fakes? Sort of, I don't think you're going to that opposite bomb site, working the middle of the map. It's a chess game, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what's so fun about Search and Destroy. That's for sure. But should be a solid one. Looking forward to Moscow. I think it's one of those maps that, you know, it's just kind of great for every mode. You usually have a 1 or 2 of those a year, but definitely one that players are going to love and we're probably going to be seeing quite a bit of. But Search and Destroy loading on up. We'll see if Røkkr can tie things up or if Empire can move closer to their third 3-0 between kickoff and the opening weekend. They just look a step above the rest, but I think it's kind of back to what you said. Like, mentality is there, man. They are grinders. They want to get better. They're perfectionists. They want to win.
I mean, on top of sort of, you obviously have Crim, but, you know, one big point last year when they added Rambo was Rambo wanted to get everybody else involved a little bit more. So just hearing the feedback from guys like Huke and aLLeY and Shotzzy, you know, everybody sort of has a different idea, right? And it's finding the best idea, trying everything out. Is well, there is that sort of mid-aggression that we saw from Røkkr. They're thinking it's going to be an A push, and it's not. It is straight up B. So quick out of the Dallas Empire. This is going to be a plant. They have the first blood. They have all the map control in this 2 versus 4.
Another gunfight win there for Huke. MajorManiak now left all alone. Melee will take down one. Can he pull off the 1v4? Well, now he's given a chance. 2 are going to drop. Just about 30 seconds on the clock. Can he find the kills in time? Not going to happen. Even if he gets that kill, the trade should be there. But that's when you get a little bit worried. Like when the 1v4s happen, like what is it that they say? It's like it's on the third guy?
Second guy.
Or, well, the second person
Number
to
2.
drop.
Yeah, it's always the second
drop.
guy. Yeah, Huke comes in for that what he thinks is the trade. And again, I mean, he's confident in his teams in the 1 versus 2, but there's also, when we had 5v5 Search, it was just trade over and over and over again. And
yeah,
you gotta value that life just a little bit more in 4 versus 4.
That just struck me as a situation where like the 1v4s happened. Yep. Like as soon as the second dropped, I was like, oh, okay, no trade, here we go.
It's a bit of a heat check for Huke.
Yeah, yep, or they'll get it done. So Empire around on the board, 2 for Huke through that, but a big first blood from Crim it was. Now on offense for Røkkr, just still trying to get eyes, maybe on some mid control. 3 players for Empire wrapping back towards B defensively. The lone man on the offsite will be Huke. And now when do the engagements begin?
And that was a lot of early mid-map pressure from Røkkr. So what is Dallas Empire kind of thinking in their head? Well, if Huke isn't seeing anything, it's going to be a B hit. So they 3 rotate back B. This is what I was sort of talking about. You can throw sort of the fakes, and exactly what they do. So there's still some pressure here. But Huke's going to have a 1 versus 2 right now, and that one of those players is the bomb. Looks like Huke backs on up. Over here towards the B street is accuracy, but he's got nothing to do with the push. It's Priestahh, it's attached. They're going to be the ones who decide the round. And Huke, who was playing those brick stairs for so long, isn't he get taken down, but does he buy enough time? The rotation here is here. Shotzzy misses the first couple of the shots. Does get taken down.
Yeah, I mean, you just had fights on what? Complete opposite sides of the map. I think iLLeY actually got the first blood, but that was traded out, and then all the focus towards the bomb carrier and the bomb site. 2 players from Røkkr, including Priestahh, able to clutch up, to win the fights, to get the trades, they get the bomb.
I was like wondering,
control.
I was wondering what was going on with like Huke's point of view, right, for a while there, because he was set up on that power position over towards the A site. I don't know if maybe he was playing a bit of an off angle or just trying to switch things up, but I thought he was going to be the one to maybe shut down that round, but it doesn't happen. Priestahh picks up 2. They're able to clutch it out.
Well, from top, Eskies go Empire, and they are just going to be hitting through mid quickly, but it's accuracy with the angle in the back. He's up top. The window able to hit the shots and get the first blood. Attached, nice position, wraps back over bomb. He'll drop 1 as well. Only 2 players remaining for Empire. Make it 1. Attached, just going nuts. Now all on iLLeY at a 1 versus 4. Teams getting put in some deep holes early in rounds. And while bomb is down by B, he's got, I mean, some time to work with, but good luck.
And Dallas Empire, they throw another one of those A fakes, right? They go top SCs, they throw some nades. The trophies of Røkkr are going off. You know, and there's 3-4 people there. And immediately, Empire, they sort of throw off of that. They go down SCs. It's all about mid-map pressure. They're trying to get to B before Røkkr can recognize it, but that doesn't happen. Accuracy was on that top platform. He's able to find the first blood. And Attach does a great job switching up his angles, taking down 2. They read that perfectly.
And that's why, I mean, I'm excited for this Røkkr team in search, just thinking about Boots 4v4. I mean, Accuracy has obviously had an up and down career, but when you think of his best title recently, you go back to Call of Duty World War II, and when you talk about Search and Destroy, if he had about 700 clutches over the course of the year, or big plays. So, like, it seems like this should fit into that, this type of game, this type of play style, where he is going to be a playmaker, and first blood, obviously crucial, but now we'll see if we get a one-on-one here between Crim and Priestahh. Looks like Crim's going to back off for now.
And you have Huke in a position. You also have Shotzzy in a great position. So they're kind of holding the traffic right now. They don't expect it. Huke and iLLeY with the crossfire, able to find that kill. On the other side, it's Shotzzy who is in that angle, in that corner. And
that was Crim just trying to bait him out. Yeah, Crim was just trying to bait him out, right? He kept sliding back and forth by the statue. Probably got a bullet or 2 in. Said Shotzzy go. Shotzzy flies and gets the kill. And it's another one of these spots where it's just a team in a 1v3, a 1v4, and praying for a miracle here for MajorManiak.
Or a couple of nades that land on his feet, so he's going to take him down. A nice defense there. It's now just a question of what is Minnesota going to do on their next attack. You know, they had the one mid hit that was able to work off. They went towards B. On the other side for the Dallas Empire, they've had 2 sort of middle to B hits. One worked early on. The second one does not. So I'm curious now, do they switch it up? Is it just maybe a fast A where they try to bully out the Røkkr from that site? Or is it maybe something a little bit more creative? But it's looking like they're going to head towards this A site.
Yeah, it's a 4-man hit. They are flying. It's going to be MajorManiak and Priestahh here. They're going to have to deal with it. They need to get kills. They need to get a lot of them. They're at least able to take down 2. So they trade about as effectively as they can. And it puts it into a 2 versus 2. But that's going to be bombed down. They'll be able to get it picked up and now work to get this down. So what? Carrier will be iLLeY. Crim's responsibility to look over. Now the question is just sort of where are Røkkr going to come from? You get some information as Attach puts some shots in. Utility getting tossed all over the place. But that's going to be the plan. So Accuracy's in another position. Can he hit the shots? Nice beams there from Accuracy. Now all on Crim to try and clutch here at a 1 versus 2.
I talk about another man who's had some insane S&D clutches. Crim, almost able to find the second. But I think it's the headshot from Attach. I thought he read it so well. He had the positioning. Attach, though, hits the shots. Able to clutch the round out. And again, not the best game 1 from him, but so far, 5-2 in this search and destroy and the round lead. And here we're going to see it from his point of view.
Yeah, it's almost like, if he stayed behind the wall
it looks
there
a little
and had the
different
cover,
from
maybe.
Crim's point of view.
Yeah, I thought Crim was still behind the kind of the half wall, but it's also tough sometimes too in Call of Duty. You know, we talk about cameras all the time, and when you're the guy that's stationary holding, especially at that range, and someone hits some movement and flies around the corner, like it's not always the easiest gunfight. But yeah, from our POV, it looked like one Crim maybe should win, but once you saw it back, a little bit easier there for the Røkkr clutch to get the round victory. So they go up 3-2. And now back over to offense. Early gunfight. This mid-map pressure from Crim again. Damage in, but he will actually be the one that drops. Accuracy, other big kill. He's had, 2 first bloods. He got the big kill there in the 2v2 off of the bomb planter. He's making some plays in this search for sure.
What that first blood does, so they get a lot of pressure towards B. The accuracy in the window. And they wrap it back up escalators. Huke's still here, though. You had such early rotation from iLLeY, so he's going to be out of this fight for quite some time. The map presence keeps Empire guessing, but it's Huke. Huke who has made this possible for iLLeY in a 1v2.
Not an easy one, but he's able to hit the shot. Ooh. Oh, it's Attach again. Another one where you think Empire might pull off a 1v2. Kind of similar scenarios, but Attach wins the gunfight. Big round from him.
Hey, he's the one who takes down Huke. Accuracy's like, all right, I'm watching over you. Hit the bomb down. He's I gotta go trade this. One more bullet from iLLeY. And he clutches that one, but it's Attach and a couple of key one-on-ones to give his team the 2-round lead.
And Shotzzy got an awkward spot. It looks so silly, I think, to the viewer, him just sort of running into top eskies. But I think I think he threw a nade that he thought was going to back the player up, like down Eskies, and he was going to take control of top, but instead it like pushed him top, and so he just ran into him getting pre-fired. It sort of looked funny, but I just thought, I don't know, if he thought his nade hit different or thought it might react different, but that was not the case. So 4-2 now for Røkkr.
This is kind of what we saw from Minnesota, right? It was a bit of a 2-2 split. So we're hoping here that iLLeY and Huke can cause enough pressure to make people think that it's going to be an A hit. That first blood comes in. He is wide open if they want to take it. But accuracy and MajorManiak, they start to rotate. And they time that works out perfectly, right? You have map control. Now A side is wide open because Y accuracy and MajorManiak are, well, we have to rotate back to B. We can't allow that bomb plant to go down because once it's down, it's so difficult to retake. And yeah, it's just mind games back and forth. Just trying to get someone to overthink something. Trying to get someone to think, hey, we're going to this offside, but it's just not happening. Grim with some nice shots there. Kind of won his team the round.
Yeah, it's like it starts as a fake, but then once you get both kills, then they just start to wrap back. But like, Røkkr almost kind of read the fake too, but it's just, yeah, unfortunately both their players on the A site got smoked.
Well,
so.
it's just two rounds in a row with that middleman. It was Crim for Dallas, and you know Crim finds the kill the second time. That middleman has to stay alive for the defense because he's the one finding the information.
Yeah.
If you're going to 3-stack the A site. So it's a little bit different here for Dallas. They have two players over towards the B street, playing it low. So this puts all the pressure on Shotzzy and iLLeY over here towards A. Looking like it's going to be an A hit. You have one man in accuracy sort of lurking around glass.
Look at Huke
going on a wide flank.
Yeah. Huke is going the whole way around, and he should find an opening unless they get a nice read. aLLeY till Huke gets there. iLLeY does drop right before the pressure comes in, but all the heads have to turn around. Oh, I think he goes for the nade. He can't finish the kill. He's able to get away, so Huke has done some damage, but you'd love to get two from that position. Creates chaos on the other side, though, because if you're Røkkr now, you got to look every which way, and Major makes major plays. He gets two and bails him out of what was a very stressful situation, I'm sure, and now Huke with the long flank is going to be the last one alive.
Yeah, like you said, I think Huke was like, I got to find this second kill. But he wanted to nade MajorManiak, but then he saw the trophy, so then he had to put it in his pocket. Then he doesn't catch him, and guess what? Guess who makes the play? It's MajorManiak who finds 3, wins the round for Minnesota.
Absolutely, and I think the other thing that was key there too is just that iLLeY dropped right before Huke engaged.
Yep.
Like what did you say? Like just stay alive till Huke gets there. He stays alive for one more second. That might go down a little bit differently, but MajorManiak, a beast. And this Røkkr team, they have a lot of playmakers in search, man. It's why they're scary. You saw it from Major. You've seen it from attach. You've seen it from accuracy at spots. Priestahh, we know he's capable of. Like, there's just guys that can be clutch and make those key plays. And, well, right now they're up 5-3, a chance to tie up the series. Let's see if they can close it out on defense.
Dallas going for that very aggressive middle hit. Accuracy. To play his life, and that's what you kind of needed, right? Instead of that player dying middle of the map, they don't even put somebody in the middle. They play him inside the window. He's able to find it. He backs away with his life. Even if you get this bomb down, if you're Dallas Empire, you're going to be in a tough spot in a 4 versus 3.
Think about, dude, accuracy stat line doesn't look crazy, right? He's like 5 and 6. 3 or 4 of those are first bloods. Yeah. Like, that's actually, I mean, that's nuts. Like, that percentage of your kills being first bloods is pretty crazy, but MajorManiak gets another one. 4v2 advantage. All going to be on iLLeY and Crim. Crim at least able to drop one. 35 seconds remaining on the clock. They've got to work to get this plant down. All the pressure on them. There's still 2 holding from the back, and it looks like they're going to start to maybe work this up towards mid. The only one really staying for the push through is going to be Priestahh, and he reads it. Nice win there from Priestahh. The slide and the chow. Priestahh gets both. 6-3 victory there from Røkkr. And I mean, I think you could pick a big play, a big moment from each of the individual players on this Røkkr side. They stepped up big in search and destroy.
And I think some frustrating rounds for the Dallas Empire. A couple of key one-on-ones, one from iLLeY, one from Crim that don't go their way. There was like 2 rounds where, you know, they give up early first bloods and basically give the round to Røkkr. But when it comes down to it, the clutch situations for Minnesota, like you said, they're able to close it out. And yeah, these are a lot of guys who throughout their careers, Search and Destroy has been a game mode that their teams have been one of the best at. And all 4 of these guys together, the game mode should be a strength. It should just make sense to them, where for a lot of teams, it's typically a struggle.
Absolutely. It's just like how good can they get in hardpoint? What's their potential there, and how terrifying can this team be? But Røkkr, they're going to be a threat. You take a look at the overall stats there. Nothing kind of insane that stands out other than kind of what I was saying, 5 and 6 for accuracy and 3 or 5 are first bloods. That's just kind of crazy, the impact he was having just in the opening parts of rounds. But
yeah, I think Shotzzy, 4 and 6, but only 600 damage. Below that 1,000 mark, he couldn't really get things going. And we know what he's able to do, especially in Search and Destroy. Especially, I mean, he's our reigning MVP. So, maybe we'll try to get him a little bit more involved. But a map like Moscow, it can be tough in a lot of those situations on those sites.
Well, we're going to take a look at our U.S. Army tactical play now, and I believe it's going to be one of the attached plays, because I think he was the guy that, I mean, they were in the better position, right? They were in 2v1s, but he was the one that had to win the key gunfight to make sure they didn't throw a round away, right? He did it twice, back-to-back times. Attached, just winning some key gunfights.
Yeah, I think this is the one where he's got to go for the bomb plant. At least thinking here, he's left in the 1 versus 2. Attach is immediately going to go for the bomb. Nice heads-up play. He thinks he can maybe catch him getting off of it or sprinting at him, and it almost happens. It does almost happen, but the slide ends at a perfect time. The 74 used shots, obviously, it has the advantage over the XM4 in that situation.
Attach going big. Røkkr going big. They get the victory. They tie it up at 1-1. This is a series it was hard to predict, right? Just because of how good Empire have been and what a threat Røkkr seemed like. It looks like we were going to have an extended series, which is exactly what you and I would love to have. A battle that goes the wire, goes the distance.
All day.
The CDL is back, baby. And Joe, we're having a blast. We'll be back with control after this break.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance. We offer insurance that's made for the military community to help them easily protect what they've worked hard for.
There's not a single person that plays at my level, at my age, period. I play every single day. I'm putting kids on the ground every single day.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. You guys showed so much love for Season 1. The Barracks is back for Season 2. Brought to you by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. In this episode, we're going one-on-one with OpTic Gaming owner Hex. He's one of the most well-known Call of Duty personalities.
I can guarantee, and I mean with the capital G, that I am going to continue to sell more hoodies than anybody in Call of Duty has ever sold.
Damn.
Period. End of story.
I coached the team for a while. He got his baby back. Reacquired OpTic Gaming, now under OpTic Gaming Chicago here in the CDL. The mastermind who made the green wall a household name,
OpTic Gaming on the board,
is now back home. Stay tuned for all that and more on this episode of The Barracks.
and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
That was a look at the Barracks presented by T-Mobile. The Barracks is a blast. You know, Teep is our boy. We love that man. We game with him like every day. It's cool. You know, he sits down with various players. Sat down with Hector, going through different topics, talking about careers, and I don't know. It's just like a good one-on-one dialogue that can cover a wide range of things. I have watched several episodes, and it's good content. If you haven't checked it out yet, you should.
Yeah, it's just about, you know, learning a little bit more about our players. Like you said, I feel that conversation with Hector was probably fantastic. Obviously, an OpTic back, and him and Teep have a ton of history. But here's a look at this match for Huke and just how good he's been in Hardpoint and iLLeY in Search and Destroy. And there's not a lot of weaknesses throughout this Dallas Empire.
No, I mean there is really not. This team is just unbelievable from top to bottom. The guys are absolutely nuts. It's just tough to. It's scary because when you think about it, you think like they're just gonna be getting better, right? They're just gonna be getting better and better.
Well, that's what you would assume. I guess. I think for us, what we always look at is when things start maybe going wrong or unraveling, if they ever do, right? Like how do they bounce back? And you would think that they have all the pieces to do that, but when you start to get tested a little bit, that's always the big question. How are the vibes? How's everybody's mentality? We would assume, based on our conversations with players and their coach and Rambo, that they would bounce back quickly. But that's when you really start to see like the true identity of a whole team.
Let's get into Control. Continuing on, we go. Røkkr bounce back. They get the search victory. We'll watch attach. POV to start. So many clutches and big plays in Search and Destroy, and he'll find an opening kill there on the Trim. Available for the trade. Let's see offensively what Empire can do. They've already got onto that B point, so able to stop the clock at least for some time. Not for long though. The pressure comes back in from Røkkr. They'll be able to clear them out, force them back off a spawn deep. So far the hold looking good.
Control middle of map, what we talked about with Garrison. Makes it so difficult to get on through. MajorManiak on top of this floating tank. How does Dallas Empire want to try and break this? Looks like a lot of pressure going to come from that vent side through caution area. I don't know if they're going to expect MajorManiak in that position. Shotzzy finds that nade and it's that opening, but attach just waiting for them down low. Still just trying to find MajorManiak, but he just keeps getting pushed up, and he's able to find a couple of spawn kills there. Now only 30 seconds for Dallas to play with.
MajorManiak, 5 spree popping up. Empire in a very tough spot. Pushed so far back. Just look at the map presence here from Røkkr. They have just got them pinned. How are they going to get to a point? Someone's going to have to go nuts. Or Shotzzy's 2 kills going to be enough to get him to the point? Doesn't look like it when you still have accuracy and attach here. desperation mode to get through. You saw the Major 5 spray, one from accuracy as well. Final second ticks off, and that's a clean defensive hold there from Røkkr.
Yeah, I mean, besides like, you know, there was a couple of trades at that beginning push, and you had a little bit of presence on the B side. That was it. Yeah, Major played his life the whole time. We didn't see it from his point of view, but you saw him lurking over towards his garage area for a while. And I mean, he was just playing it patiently. Well, he gets pushed up, able to find a couple of spawn kills, and he's able to read it.
Well, Minnesota, they bounce back with a search win. They start great here on defense within the control. We heard the Empire comms earlier. This time, let's go to an Astro listen-in with Røkkr.
In green, might fly out. He's left side of green.
He naded me. I had to back up. He naded me green.
Weak.
I don't have a real anymore.
I'm nading in
One
green.
vent, Shotzzy vent, weak.
One shot, Mike.
Back to B hub. Back to B hub.
Shotzzy.
B hub, Cellium. Nice. One shot green, one and out.
2 green, 1 out.
Help me top green. Help me top green. He's still up there.
Under top green. One more top green.
Or some top green. I can help you right.
L weak under.
One top green. Top green green. He's not peeking.
There's an L, okay?
Green weak, Huke. No man,
green under L.
Green and rails. Rails, one shot. I dropped the nade.
I wasn't you. Oh, no.
Back mid,
Rails,
one shot. Okay, green. That was rails. Alright, back mid.
Yeah.
You weak on me, Rails.
It could go deep,
I'm
right?
left. I'm helping you.
Yeah,
Hey,
frame up.
Front you right now, challenge.
Close rails. One's close rails. I'm staying alive, caution. Close rails dead.
Nice, one was front of you.
I can't chop front.
I'm with you now. I'm with you.
Loading,
Crim, one shot on me. Low floating.
Flying out.
Rails,
Shotzzy. Mid tanks and tools. Mid tanks and tools. 2 mid tanks. Last 2 there. Shotzzy backed up mid tanks.
One more. Underground. And now, child.
3-3-3. Last guy L.
Coming up. Low mid.
The comms are fast, the comms are furious, but they're trying desperately to get towards the point. And, well, in a position where they don't have a lot of time to work with, and the presence still stacked on that B site for Empire. Røkkr have got to get somewhere to stop this clock and work an extension.
Yeah, able to get some presence there as attach on that B point, just pausing the clock for right now. But similar to what we saw in that first round. Maybe an opportunity here. We have Huke working through bottom middle. There is some progress. Accuracy going to get on this point now. They're just going to try and stack it, maybe extend this round. Lives pretty close. Only down 2. Are Minnesota, but here comes the push. Dallas want to end this round as quickly as possible. Shotzzy, he's going to get on it with Huke. As that pinch comes in, 10 seconds left. MajorManiak, he's got to do it all right now. Able to find another kill. Priest is there to help him, and there that cap comes in.
We saw it a lot when we casted this yesterday. Like some rounds that look like it's just so close. So close to getting the hold on defense and being over, but they were able to clutch up in the final seconds, get that minute-long extension. Now, what plays can they make? They've already got accuracy, pushed up very deep. iLLeY, I couldn't tell if we just saw him on Codcaster or if maybe he missed a spot on him for a second. Well, now he's right in front of you. Priestahh Crim able to take him down. How much more can Crim find? Another nice one-on-one win. Just trying to clear the pressure from their spawn side. There's still one there and attached. Just trying to finesse, trying to divert any kind of attention he can. Was it long enough for his teammates to get layered out the map? It looks like it was.
Yeah, it was, but there's no really presence on A, and with 20 seconds left, they're going to have to stop the clock. But they are just trying to get some spawn kills, get inside of breaks, and maybe you can pinch this player. It looks like it's going to come down to Huke, and, well, that plate does come in. That was Priestahh who was able to just put some damage on, make him reposition, attaches, nade hits. That allows attach and MajorManiak to get out. Well, Dallas, they have no respawns remaining, so they have to retake this. They have to wait for all players to come back off with spawn. Good thing for them is they aren't stacking it, so they have some time to work with.
It's just the lives. iLLeY and Huke going to be the last 2 up. iLLeY and Huke both able to get kills, but will it be enough? Only one more bit of progress needed. Huke going to be last alive. Not able to close it out, but God, did it get a little bit crazy. And yeah, I mean, it's tough. You didn't have a lot of options on how to play that because you had no respawns right if you're Empire. And it's just, it's nuts around the point.
Yeah, I mean, they just play it very patiently. If you're Minnesota Røkkr, you had accuracy sort of working that small door, waiting for them to push on up to make that push, right? Because they had to make the 4-man push with no respawns remaining. Huke, if he finds that last kill, I didn't see the exact time remaining, but there's a chance that he might clutch that.
And I think if you're Røkkr, like you were talking about the stack, like in that spot, because you have the life's advantage, you just don't need to, right? Just play power positions, play the kills, just make sure the clock's not moving. You stack it, and who knows? They hit some crazy nades or shot lines up for a two-piece, things fall apart. So they play it smart. They get the W. They've got a 2-round advantage.
Well, attached really from that game too. I mean, him and Priestahh. This is what we really wanted to see stat-wise from these guys. But you got to think, you know, when a couple of key one-on-ones from attached, that maybe, you know, gets him going a little bit more, gets that adrenaline pumping. 14 and 8 in this game, number 3. Priestahh leading the way with 17.
But a much better offense this time from Empire. You get a point. You're not, you know, trying to battle out of your spawn for what felt like the last 30 or 40 seconds. You get a point. You have a ton of time now. You got 2 minutes to work with. You have a 4-life advantage. You're in a good position. Now, how do you work on the collapse? Defensively, what? Attach is going to be playing from kind of that generator position, tucked away by the point. And they're trying to focus on the spawns and the kills first and foremost. iLLeY gets one shot. He can't finish it before the teammate comes up with some help. But the rest of the squad is there. Now it's really just Attach kind of by himself on the point. This is where the collapse is going to come in. Empire are going to try and 4-man hit this. They've given up the attention on the spawns. They're focusing now on the objective. Attach is the one that's got to go massive. The first kill was big. He stayed alive so long. Is that going to be enough?
Yeah, it was weird. There was no pressure from Green, right? I mean, I was just waiting for someone to fly on through. Dallas got what they wanted. You see where number 4 just spawns? That's where they want them to spawn, as far away as possible from the point. And it took some time to get that setup, but, you know, Attach stayed alive for a very long time because there was no pressure from top Green. But they're able to sort of deal with the situation that they're in. They now have a couple players on A. Huke now on a 5 spree, really turning it around. And they should be able to close out this offense.
Yeah, it might not matter in the end, but yeah, as soon as they got the 3 spawn, I thought they were going to soar and Attach, just go, but in the end, not going to matter. Final tick comes in, there you go. You get the offensive round win. The round, well, you needed to win that, otherwise you were going down 1-2 in this series. They extend this. We'll take a look at the best play. It's going to be from Huke. Solid series thus far. Shot has been on point, movement there as well. It doesn't matter what gun the man has, he's making it work. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Understand the situation so well, but it was big for Empire because now they're back on a defense, but Minnesota on their last offense were able to win it. Remember, it came down to what, the last couple of seconds for them to extend the round. If Dallas can sharpen up the defense and get us to around 5.
I mean, what was it last time? What was the clock down to when Røkkr got B? It was like 10 seconds,
10 seconds
or less.
I want to say, yeah.
Shotzzy, very sneaky through the vent. Got to pounce like a cat. Well, that pounce did not work. Accuracy takes him down. Attach in the kill feed as well. And that means Røkkr onto the point. They get B with that added time. If they can get it quickly and cleanly, they should be able to close out the game here, barring an incredible hold from Empire. Second bit of progress on through. One does challenge in from Empire for a second, but you've still got accuracy there on the point. That should be B.
No.
Oh, sorry, he got killed. Okay, he has dropped. Dude, it was so close to being finished. It was like, I thought it was done. He must have died, what, half a second before that was going to complete.
Yeah, they just worked through the bottom middle of the map. I was wondering if Dallas was going to go for it. MajorManiak sneaking around, just trying to deal with Shotzzy coming off the spawn. It's going to be tough for Shotzzy. He's got a 74U. On the other side of the map, you have Crim, who's able to find a kill. He's trying to do the same thing MajorManiak is doing. Shotzzy, though, is able to win the one-on-one.
Think about the difference that one kill might make. Like, if he's alive for one more second, finishes B, you've got, what, like 2:15 on the clock or so to go? This is just going to, at least for Empire, give you a great spot time-wise, but down to 4 lives. Now they've pushed up kind of onto both sides. They've got 2 locking down mid, 1 on either position. It'll stop the clock for now and see what they can do. Joe, how are Empire going to react?
That should be being it is. And now the key thing here is a minute 30, but you're also down 5 lives if you're Empire. So you got to make sure you get to this A site and control the middle of the map. Control this brick room. So you want to see iLLeY's out of the map. He's hopping right back in. He's got 3 seconds to do it. He played that beautifully. Something maybe you haven't seen before. iLLeY's showing all of his tips and tricks right here.
That was unbelievable because that was one of the key kills, right? To get him out of that power position back by the A point. And yeah, he did it from outside of the actual map. So nutty play there, and the lives have come a whole lot closer to even. Empire, a chance to tie this up at 2-2 and get us to around 5. Shotzzy just locking down top green, holding the opposite side from bottom vent will be Huke. He gets a lucky timing there as Attach pushes out. Lives still just staying around square. Team shot comes in for Empire. They take down more. All spawning out now is Røkkr with 35 seconds to go. This sequence here, this set of kills has got to be big for Røkkr.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the last push coming in, the last 4-man push. You see how much work they have to do. They are just all just in this dark position. They're going to wait for Priestahh to come off spawn, but, well, Huke's going to stagger things a little bit more. So now down to 15 seconds, and you're going to have to fly, or we're going to around 5. And I think they're just going to stop. Yeah, so what they're doing right now is they want defense. Maybe they're counting kills. Hey, we're up a couple. So they're just going to lose this round, but they don't want to lose in the lives department. Attach does get taken out, but there was a trade. So we'll see who gets defense in this round 5.
And Huke, dude, it's like, you know, when you think about it, he's playing so far from the site that, you know, they're actually defending. But what he can do from there is, he just kept peeking at events. He'd find a kill, stagger the push. He can peek out and get eyes on mid so easily they have to keep being worried about him. Like, I feel like Huke was alive during events for like a minute. I mean, he was there for so long.
Yeah, so someone was doing the math on the Røkkr side. So they probably just said, okay, you know what? Let's not lose defense. So for everybody tuning in, and you want to figure out how to get defense on round number 5, it just comes down to the kills. The team with the most kills is going to end up getting defense in round 5. So someone was counting the kill difference. They made sure they had it. They played conservatively, and now we'll see if you know, that strategy comes into place.
Oh, we've obviously seen teams win offenses quite a bit, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. But yeah, heads up play there from the Røkkr side.
How is he alive? How is Huke still alive? Okay, finally.
Dude, there's been times in his career where he's been called the hardest kill. The guy manages to stay alive in situations a lot of time where he should not. Granted, when I mostly heard that, it was Advanced Warfare, and that's a little bit different.
Long time ago as well.
Yeah. But I still think in general, he's just a tough kill, man. He's good at finessing, good at position. Like, he just, the way his brain works, it is different than a lot of players. But Empire, they're trying. They're trying to work towards B, but you still have Priestahh with an angle mid-map. He staggers this big push yet again. They're just trying so hard to get into the point and get the contest. He's still got accuracy there, but Shotzzy, big 2-1s. Yes, it's traded out. But yeah, you still haven't been able to get onto the point. They haven't been able to delay this at all. Finally, they'll get in with 18 seconds left. They need this to be clean. As much time as possible for the move over towards A. MajorManiak, though, is doing a good job contesting. I think it's Priestahh that's going to work the flank as well as he gets another big kill from mid-map. MajorManiak finds it on the other side of things, and it resets for Empire. Great defensive plays there from Røkkr. Heads-up plays in the kill department to get the defense, and they'll close it out there. Røkkr with a big round 5 victory, take a 2-1 edge in the series.
And there we go, right? Just playing that fundamental game of control that they wanted. They wanted to make sure they had defense in round 5, and, well, they have the advantage. It just wasn't as clean for Dallas. They couldn't get onto the point. They couldn't get that extended time. Well, just every single time they finally got to B, there was always one player left for Røkkr to get them off of it. And this is what we talked about. This is kind of the Minnesota that we expected. I know they didn't have the best game first match of the week going up against the Los Angeles Thieves, but it already feels like they've made some adjustments and improved.
Yeah, and yeah, 2 of the defensive rounds they had was just, I mean, one was perfect. I mean, that first one was a round 1 was flawless. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. But when you have 2 defensive rounds and you're not allowing a team to get a single point, you're doing something right. And they did an excellent, excellent job there. So good stuff from Røkkr. looking scarier and scarier. And yeah, you know, we've hyped Empire so much. They're one of the top teams without question, but whatever you want to call it, the dark horse, the team with maybe the biggest ceiling, or I don't know how to refer to Røkkr exactly, but after the moves, like, just like how good can they be? And well, if they can close out this series and beat Empire, I know it's early, but it bodes well.
Well, it's just, you know, at this point, you've basically secured a game 5. And that's kind of what we said was going to be important for them. They'll win a respawn versus these top teams. And if they can get better at hardpoint and they have another hardpoint opportunity here, if they're winning hardpoints, yeah, who knows? It's exactly that.
It's like literally what we talked about in hardpoints. It's like what Crowder was breaking down. Like this team starts to win hardpoints consistently, and he said they're going to win a tournament, which is that's pretty high praise coming from one of the more knowledgeable COD players of all time. So good for Røkkr. You're up 2-1. You win the search. You win the control. Now Empire, the reigning champs, have to try and bounce back. We'll see if they can do it after this quick break. It's Valentine's Day. Love is in the air, and it is time for the social soundboard presented by Astro. Because we all love love. Love is a beautiful thing, and for Røkkr, XOXO Empire, there's no one I'd rather play against on Valentine's Day than you. That's beautiful. And Joe, for me, if I had to think of all the things that I'd like to do on Valentine's Day, or all the importance, or the things that I truly love most, it is commentating Call of Duty with you.
That's true love. Yeah, you know, as important it is to give a ton of love to my wife on this day, it's also important for me to give a ton of love to my partner, and that's you.
Wait, so wait, what's the order of that though for you? Wife, me, or me, then wife?
Depends on the day. Just depends.
Not the answer I was hoping for, Joe. I was hoping that I'd always be number one. But we're going to get ready to take a look at some key stats for this matchup as we get ready for a hard point. I mean, this is looking like something that is going to go to a game 5. But to be fair, I mean, we talk about the map 1. Now, once we had the replay, it was a tight one. What, like 250, 200? Look much better for the Røkkr side. It's not even that they're a bad hard point team. It's just how good can they be? Because then they've got a chance to really make some deep runs once we talk about the major time. But can they close it out here? But as you said, you've already guaranteed a game 5. So you're in a good position regardless. But from the garrison control, those are the key stats. You talked about attaches momentum kind of from the game 2 plays going into game 3. Drops a 1.3. Big game from attach, but everyone kind of putting on. When your whole team's above a 1.0, it's usually a good sign.
But that's it, right? It's more balanced effort. And what has their struggle been in hardpoint? It seems like 1 or 2 are playing well, but 2 are sort of struggling. They're not getting on the same page, or I'm not exactly sure, you know, what the problem is. Because again, it's like 0-4, 0-5 now in hardpoint in these CDL matches. So they have to improve. That's why we're talking about it. They have another chance here. And they all sort of figure it out. Now, when they played LA Thieves, this was a much closer game. It was like 250 to 190. So they were competitive in it. And, you know, 250 to 190, you obviously know 60 points, a play here or 2 there, that changes things.
Yeah, no, certainly. I mean, I know it's different mode, but you just got to win in a respawn on Garrison. Obviously, they feel comfortable there. We'll see if they can take any of that kind of momentum into this. But it's just, I actually wanted to ask you, kind of talk about like how different is like the ban veto process right now for these teams compared to how it might be later in the year? Like, what are you really focusing on when you're thinking about map, sides, the goal of the coaches and the teams here?
Well, I think everybody early on in the season plays to their comfort zones. You have people sort of taking records and what are the stats that you have from practice, and that's what you're going to try and prioritize. What do your players like to play? And then maybe if things are going wrong, you try to switch that veto process up. Or, maybe in 3 weeks or when we're at the major, we know that the Minnesota Røkkr are, I don't know, let's just say 9-1 in hardpoint Garrison. Even if you're a really good Garrison team, you're probably going to try and veto that and play something differently. So for right now, you're going to play what's comfortable to you, what has been going well in scrims. But, in a month, 2 months down the road, you might have some priority because you see somebody's weakness in the game. You try to maybe force a checkmate hardpoint for a different team. Try to maybe play a Moscow. That process is going to change quite a bit.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the breakdown. Yeah, because I know it's an important part of the meta or the important part of COD esports that, we don't talk about all of the time. It's, it's a thing that goes down kind of between the teams, but just want to highlight it from time to time, what the importance of it is and how things break down. But we're loading in. Garrison, hardpoint. Empire, they can take another hardpoint. They get us to a crazy map 5 and, well, it'll be what? Map 5 to start today? Another map 5, and we might be in for a long and beautiful and glorious day as we have FaZe versus OpTic coming up next. But, oh, God, I don't know. I don't know how to call this. I think I got to favor Empire because it's the hard point, but Røkkr just continue to impress.
I think for the Empire side in that game 3, I think it was Grim who didn't have the best game statistically, so we'll see if that main AR it can switch it up. And Garrison is a map where if your ARs can get going, if you can get to those power positions, you can just rain hell from above, from that catwalk, from the tank. You can just make it so difficult for the opposing subs.
We'll see who's going to be able to do it, but look at the kill feed. Priestahh, accuracy, attach. Priestahh again. It's just Røkkr finding the kills. They're the ones finding the time and holding mid-map. You can kind of see at number 1 in accuracy. He's holding the lane, making sure they'll have an easy transition over, but he just easily takes bullets to the face there from Huke. So that will drop for now, but as soon as he dies, he still spawns up safe top left. So you're in a pretty good spot to worry about green control and getting into the hard points. So not a ton of time really earned for either side, but at least look into next. You feel good about Røkkr's chances.
You see where accuracy and attach are set up. Priestahh trying to watch back lights here. Here's where the push is going to come in, but Crim just kind of has to wait for his teammates. His teammates are spawning all the way across the map. That doesn't come in. It's a little bit staggered here for the Dallas Empire. You want them to wait for one another. Huke follows him up, so now Huke's all the way up. You see Priestahh's position. Priestahh spawning them really far away, and that's good stuff, but now 2 kills come in. Here's going to come the first push.
What I didn't see, I think when Crim pushed up, that's where Priestahh spawned.
Oh, did he? Okay.
But then when, yeah, I think so. And then when Crim died, then it forced the back spawn back over to Empire. At least I think that's what. It can get a little crazy on this particular.
Yep.
Yeah. It gets a little crazy on this particular hard point, and some teams have different goals when it comes to this particular one.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't sure if he pushed out of green, but we saw him die back lights, and that would make a lot of sense.
Yes,
so, there we go. Good pickup, Clint.
Every now and then, yeah, I think Crim influenced that, just the timing of it. But 44-30, gonna be the score line.
Accuracy's back here. He gets all the spawns.
Yep. Well, all of them but one. I think Major spawned out deep, but yes, they're still in a pretty good spot to hold on to it. Well, Major, he had enough freedom to track across the map that he's actually able to get a kill in the process.
And that's just a break right there that can happen if you're the Røkkr, right? You get those back spawns. You have an opportunity there where you can chain the second and third hill together, and you just get all of those points. If that doesn't happen, the Empire, if they just brute force their way through the front, able to find the kills inside a tool and inside this dark room from the front, and well, they're able to brace. So now they're going to take the lead, and this is where, we talked about it yesterday. The map kind of gets a little bit interesting with hills 4 and 5. It's all about mid-map control.
We'll see who's able to lock it down. That's a flurry of kills in from Røkkr. Now, where does the spawn come in? Well, due to what MajorManiak deep, it's going to be a far left spawn out for Empire. As they'll try to battle back and get that mid-map control you're talking about. Priestahh, though, able to get in towards top green. I don't know, it looked awkward, like he had him lined up for a second, then maybe thought it needed to finesse, but regardless, he ends up falling, so everybody from Røkkr then put into a tough spot. Look at mid-map, it's all white arrows. Empire set up in a position to try and break in and get some time, but they haven't been able to do it yet. Still the presence from Røkkr to keep this scrappy, but Shotzzy kind of in that power spot in the top window. XM4 in hand, just looking to lay down damage. Nades flying in, though. He decides to soar on out, and accuracy ready and waiting.
That just hasn't really been clean from either side throughout this game
so
far. That's why you have this close scoreline. It's like the 3 or 4 down isn't coming in, and you know, it's just trades back and forth. So the scrap time, you know, the Røkkr, we're going to have another lead change. We're going to head to the final hill of our first rotation.
Well, usually with the way I think about it, it's like when you have the, when you add the total points of the teams combined, it's pretty similar to how much time has gone off the clock. That usually means it's been pretty scrappy, right? Like when that much time has come off the clock, it hasn't been clean. There's been a lot of contests. There's been a lot of open hard points where people can't get control. Yeah, 2 minutes have already been ripped off of that play clock timer. But to 5th we go. Still healthy time here. Shotzzy, the reigning MVP, trying to look over Crim and find the angles. And well, all he's going to find is bullets and nades as they come soaring on in. Røkkr looking to get it done. And it's just another scrappy hard point. It literally feels like every hard point, each team is getting like 15 to 25 points.
Yeah, the players on the hill are just dying. Like, it's the sort of outer gunfights that aren't going their way, which open up the angle, so the player on the hill dies, which then, as soon as that player goes down, everyone's got a little kind of rotate forward, and as soon as that happens, you have another gunfight, and yeah, it just hasn't been clean from either side. Well,
on this map, I feel like this map, it's just tough. It is. It's tough to be clean at times unless you have like perfect control. And yeah, as you stated, we haven't really seen it yet. But now, back to our first hard point in the rotation. MajorManiak can't hit the beams. It's iLLeY that's actually able to take down 2. 3 will drop from Røkkr. That'll get them spawning out. This is really good position now for Empire. You've gotten inside the hard point. You've got mid-map lockdown. Barring some sort of over push and flip, you should be in a good spot. But there, one does flip out, so that'll be MajorManiak. And they should have the read on this. They got Crim should have the read on this.
Yeah, Crim kind of figured like that's a possibility. So you saw the positions of iLLeY and Huke. They were so far pushed up towards the middle of the map. They're still going to have hill control. They're trying to hunt down MajorManiak. He's just buying time for his teammates, but here we go. Maybe now the first opportunity for a full 60 on this Garrison hardpoint.
See if they can do it. Yeah, the first big major hold. This is where it can happen. Still in a good spot. Priestahh, though, trying to push forward for the contest. Shots coming in from behind. The call comes in. Huke able to slide out and get the trade. MajorManiak, he takes nade damage as well. Huke, 3, 4. Huke just lining them up and making plays. The man's a magician. As there is the hold you're talking about, and the beams continue with the 74U at range. Huke, a special and rare talent.
And now you can see that Minnesota is spawning back left. Huke also able to earn those streaks. So you have you got the missile, you have the artillery in case things go wrong at this hill. This is exactly where you want to use it. And you might have to. Røkkr, they're going to get, 3 of them in this area. But Huke so far, man, I mean, he's just been so good. Might be one of the best players we've watched so far this year.
Yeah, he was on, I think it was an 8 or 9 streak before he died. So the man just went nuts. And that's where the scoreline gets separated. But there's a streak you were talking about coming in, but it helped them get some clearance towards the point. You like the usage?
Yeah, I mean, that's just, I mean, they don't have spawns. You want to break this hill. Because, right, say they don't break this, I mean, it's 170 to maybe 130, 140. So it saves them 10 to 20 points. It also gave them the opportunity to get to that 200-point mark, but it doesn't happen. Røkkr able to destabilize a little bit. You still have an artillery as well if this game goes a little bit longer. Some scrap time going to go the way of Røkkr, but that 50-point lead. And yeah, it's just Huke's ability at times. He just stays alive when he shouldn't. Just continuously makes plays.
Well, it's just like, we can't describe the difference enough. If you started watching, well, there's another individual play. Shotzzy gets 3. If you watched last year, like let's say you're a COD fan, and I know there's new fans that come in every year. Last year, the difference in the title, you would get like a 3 or a 4 piece, and there were times where it wasn't that big of a deal. It just didn't matter that much based on the spawn system or the mode you were playing. Here, though, typically, you make a play like that, it's leading to massive objective time. There's a significant difference in kind of those highlight plays this year.
Yeah, shout out Treyarch. We love you. A 3 gonna go down.
Dude, how many times last year did someone like get like a 3-piece? I was like, oh, that didn't.
Yeah, all
that
the
didn't
time.
really
They just
affect
kept
things.
spawning there, just over and over again. But here's a bit of the trap that we were sort of looking for on this hill. In Minnesota, they're going to spawn out very far away. Dallas Empire now 40 points away from sending us to another map 5.
5 in a row now for Crim as he's heating up. The hard points look so good, but for the 15th time, Røkkr did their job in this series. They guaranteed themselves a map 5. It likely is going to come down to the search unless they can do something nutty here, but Crim just still trying to keep the streak going. It's at 6. How high can the man push it? You talked about that kind of main AR battle. Well, Crim's the one getting it done now. They're lining up. That's 8 in a row, 12, and that clip isn't enough. Not going to be as Major will finally shut down the big streak, but you had, what, a 9 streak for Huke, 8 for Crim, 100-point advantage. Garrison, Hardpoint, Empire. They've got Røkkr in the blender.
And there was sort of, you kind of saw from Crim's point of view how nice it is when your team does have position, how it can be as that main AR. Just, you know, everybody's sort of running into you. It's just one kill after another. He was able to earn himself some streaks. Huke does call in the artillery. Maybe just to sort of try and open up middle of the map for his team. Shotzzy gets that automate until that comes in. Røkkr still alive for right now. Some more streaks going off.
And they'll get maybe a majority of this time. We'll see how much, I guess, Empire invested into the break and how much they just worry about control for the next point and closing the game out there. Well, it looks like they're able to get break and hold spawns for next, so everything going in Empire's favor. They can get it done. They can get the dub here. 12 points away now. Røkkr desperately trying to battle on in. You still have attached to the position to at least clear them out. Maybe see another hard point, but you had the big streak from Huke. Got him streaks. Crim's big streak got him some as well. They want to close out the game on this hard point. They're not going to be able to do it because Priestahh says, not yet. I'd like to see one more hard point, please.
Yeah, he's keeping the gun warm. He's just keeping it warm on a little forestry. He's up to 33, so just keeping it, you know, and warm for map 5.
Oh, I mean, it's never over. It's never over. I know you only need 6 points for your Empire, but you've gotten control of the next point behind some big plays from Røkkr. They clear out the last long enough to give themselves a hope. Now comes the big push from Empire. The push hasn't worked out yet. The hold is still here. You get all 40 seconds. What, you're down around 35 or so points. If you can do it. Pistol in hand for MajorManiak. The swap not quick enough to take down iLLeY as well. But you always wonder in these scenarios sometimes, and I'm not saying Empire's guilty of it, but you're up so big and you need so few points that there's an instant where maybe you take the foot off the pedal, and in that instant, it's enough.
Well, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about the streaks, right? Like, why would you call a streak in on the middle hill? It's sort of that decision because the streak could work great over there towards this hill, or you know, in this position right now, right at this third hill. So they rotate early. I think it was Huke who, with about 25 seconds, just sort of dipped to the other side of the map. And Minnesota, they bring it back a little bit, as you said, but Dallas Empire, they had a huge lead. The individual plays really separated that game. We're headed to a map number 5.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just the difference there. Like, all we talked about for the first 5 minutes of the game is,
this
how
guy plays a different
scrappy
game.
it was.
Oh, what am I watching?
And then this play, right? This is the play where it went from splitting time on hard points to, hey, we're getting 60. And then the beams from Catwalk to close it out. Yeah, no, Huke is a different breed. The man just absolutely went off. But yeah, it all kind of spiraled from that play, right? Like that it was around the tie game or within 20 points until that spot. And that play there is where Empire took over.
Just able to chain together that second and third hill with the streak, and that gives them an 80-90 point lead. And yeah, that was it. But we're going to take a look at our stats before we get into map number 5. And yeah, it's pretty good on the Dallas Empire side, but I mean, yeah, we talked about Huke, but look at the damage from iLLeY. 30. Yeah, he had 6,500 damage. That's pretty darn good.
Wait, what? That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The man was frying. It's tough. You know, that's the hardest thing when you talk about, like, we're not a MOBA, right? Where you can go to a bird's eye view where you're always watching the action. Even though it's 5v5 to 4v4, it's still 8 POVs. It's hard to catch every single play, but it's just nuts because you see the big plays from Huke. And iLLeY, this man is just shooting everything over the course of it. So monster damage there from iLLeY, and a reason we like to take a look at the stats at the end of the game. You know, it just really shows you sometimes some things you miss. iLLeY was just an absolute beast there. Empire get the victory. It was a map 5 kick off the day. We've got another map 5 coming here. Røkkr, Empire. It's all down to this search and destroy. We'll be right back after this break.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance. We offer insurance that's made for the military community to help them easily protect what they've worked hard for.
It's Valentine's Day, and I'm casting with the love of my life. You know what I love too on Valentine's Day? A good old-fashioned Game 5 between two top dogs duking it out. That's exactly what we've got here, Joe DeLuca.
Yeah, I like the accent as well. One of your better ones, because sometimes it's not. But here's a look. The Moscow search and destroy stats that we saw. A great game for MajorManiak and Attach. And we talked about their search and destroy. They have not dropped a search in an official match this year. They get it to that Game 5, which is one of the keys to victory. And we'll see what can happen now.
Yeah, and it's again, like we're using stats, and it's always difficult at the beginning of the year, and you know it's tough with this particular esport to base stats off of like last year because we changed titles each year, so it's limited, right? There haven't been many matches, but it's still, yeah, you haven't lost the search yet. Even if it's only a handful of searches, you haven't lost the search yet. So you've looked really good in that mode. Would it be more impressive a month from now? Certainly. But wait, what was the one stat that I was actually thinking of from search that was really impressive? What was the team that had that like 11 search losses in a row? Was that EG back in?
Oh, that was.
Was that in World War II? Was it EG?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was. I don't know why that one came to mind, but that was a bad one. So the opposite, maybe of this, but yeah, very tough struggle.
They won champs, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. Who cares what negative stretch you have if you're winning champs to get a fat paycheck? But Røkkr, Empire, map 5, we love it. Who's going to be making the plays? Starting out on offense, we'll see. It'll be the Røkkr side and how they'll play this out. But yeah, it was the individual moments. We saw one from just about everybody, but you saw, yeah, attach and accuracy really were the highlight players, and they do it again.
And now in a year in search and destroy, typically the bomb site we'll see the most action is over towards B. That A, it's pretty tough to get to. If you're seeing anything, it might be like a middle map to A hit through bricks. Nice first blood by MajorManiak. Gonna spot Shotzzy as well. The bomb, it started getting planted. Was that was Priestahh who was able to work through vents. There was nobody there from Dallas Empire. Now with the advantage over to Minnesota.
Well, that advantage has just gotten bigger. MajorManiak has been able to get both of their kills, accuracy, then the tank gets another, and there's the final. Røkkr get it done. They get the first blood. They get the plant down, and I mean that first blood. I mean that was just clean shots from
and that's just quick.
That pick was just clean.
It's just what we're talking about. So as soon as that happens, then MajorManiak can push up. He checks the one corner. He backs up Shotzzy. Priestahh's in the vent. He clears the vent room. So as soon as he knows that those players at square can't take him down, he goes to the bomb. That's just quick decisions from Minnesota. It's what you want to see in search and destroy.
I love that quick breakdown. Good stuff, Joe. Here we go. Continuing on. Nice round for MajorManiak, but we'll swap sides. See if he can find himself another first blood, but it's quick action over towards B or Empire. Is again, vent so important. Is there some sort of little special sneaky vent party going on down here with Shotzzy and Huke?
Well, that's just they want to double that so they can get a trade, because they want to clear that so they can work the bomb. If there's someone in there and they challenge one by one, that's just easy for the defensive player. So they send two in there, get that trade in, and similar to what we saw from Minnesota, as soon as you deal with the player at square, they work towards the bomb. The bomb is planted. It's a 3 versus 4. MajorManiak's going to make it a 3v3, and attach comes from top green, but there's the trades, the map control. Dallas Empire able to tie it up.
Yeah, I mean, those were nearly identical rounds, right?
Yep.
From either team offensively. I know a little different, but at its core, same game plan, same success with the first blood from the same position, and you get the plant down. But that was that was a really good just kind of breakdown and watch of both teams trying to effectively work that B site. Now, what can you do? Like, I guess my question to you, like, what do you do defensively to deal with that? It's just basically the square player can't die. Like,
yeah, you could have someone play vent as well. We haven't seen that. Or you could just get some really early mid-map aggression around middle tank. But what is Dallas Empire going to do? They're going to send Huke inside a vent. Priestahh, he's going to stun this. Doesn't connect. And if Huke gets this kill with Priestahh in there, that will also be bomb in that position, which you never want to drop bomb there, because then Huke knows they're going to have to come towards him sooner or later. So Priestahh's not going to challenge just yet, but 30 seconds off the clock, and there's going to have to be some movement soon.
If the nades can connect top green, nobody gonna drop. Huke still just holding. And you'll see, I mean, you were kind of talking about why they would send 2 for that trade. This is the example of why. Is Huke is just in that position, and he's not losing that gunfight unless he just somehow whiffs every bullet. If it's a one-on-one, I'm saying. But accuracy, first blood, instantly though traded there from Crim, MajorManiak, going big again to find another kill in this game 5. Huke, he's gonna get caught. Priestahh able to flank it, hit it from the other side. Now all down onto iLLeY, 1 versus 3. He's hoping he can get 1 kill and get away with his life. Not gonna happen. The trade there from Røkkr. And they will go up 2-1 is what? All offensive round victories so far.
Yeah, so again, a great round, but right there, that kill, MajorManiak on a Crim, what does that do? That opens up Huke's flank. So Huke has to get a little bit aggressive. He's worrying now that someone's going to come behind him. He plays the one-timey up front, has to turn around. Guess what? Priestahh's already a little bit quicker. So Minnesota, they get top green control to try to work a pick middle of the map. That's when MajorManiak was able to find it. Then that just basically leaves Huke out to dry. At that point, Huke has to make an individual play, and it doesn't happen.
Oh, almost another early pick for MajorManiak that would have opened up things for them to control mid, but he can't quite finish the kill. Just
that's your teammate. Hello.
Kill. Yeah. At first I thought I was talking about the wrong team. Like the way that looked, the way he ADS'd right at him, I was like, wait, am I confused? But Priestahh, first blood. That's what the first blood we've had actually on the defensive side of things, I believe. Priestahh gonna drop. They're lining up for attach. He's hitting the shots now, down to a 1 versus 1. Huke, he's been phenomenal all series, but Mr. Ice in his veins. Accuracy alive on the other side. Huke's just gonna try and get this plant down. Does he get the timing? He does. Accuracy with the read, gets the kill, puts Røkkr up 3-1.
It's always tough, you know, when your accuracy sort of playing that position over there towards that bomb site on the outer part, because you're basically the anchor over there, right? You might not see action for quite some time, and then when you finally do, it might be a situation where you're left alone because your teammates die, or all 4 players like sort of dive on out. So he plays it patiently, he moves on up, and yeah, the timing goes his way.
But that reminds me of like back in World War II, like with Arden Forest or St. Marie or something. If he'd be in the offside, he'd be that guy in the 1v3s, the 1v4s, and like somehow he would pull him off. Like he's a guy I rely on when he's last alive. Put it that way.
Look at that scoreboard. What Shotzzy 0-4, not the. Again, I think he struggled in that Game 2 search on Moscow as well. So whatever Minnesota's doing, really throwing his game off. Big round here for Dallas Empire. You do not want to go down 3 rounds, and that first blood should help.
So what? 3 offensive rounds in a row? With all the first bloods coming there, now it's back-to-back first bloods on defense, and Empire should be in a good spot to at least make sure we don't see what we saw earlier with all those quick plants. Can someone get an individual moment to shift the tides back into Røkkr's favor? You can see just how difficult it can be. If we go to the vent cam, you can see Priestahh, bit of a party. 1 kill for either side, just Priestahh and accuracy alive for Røkkr. Accuracy, can he catch 1? Can he catch 1? He'll get 2. Accuracy, a big play yet again, and there's the play to shift the tides. iLLeY now left alone. He'll be able to get the kill. Down to another 1 versus 1, but it's Røkkr in position again. Back-to-back 1v1s, back-to-back Røkkr wins, and it is a 1-4 hold now for Empire.
Yeah, and it's just we typically don't see this very often from Dallas. Just a costly play. I mean, first of all, they let the bomb go down, but there's no immediate trade. Usually, what we would see from them is Huke and Shotzzy flying at accuracy. They knew he was 1 bullet. But I think what they're afraid of is they don't know Priestahh's position, so they don't want to fly on out and then maybe like force a 1 versus 1 or whatever it may be, but.
That was actually the same thing in the last round, though. Like, attach getting the 2 kills mid. Like, before the trade came, it was like the same thing. It just, like, turns the round around completely. But Shotzi's woes continues. He's at 0-5. Maybe just check out maybe why he's struggling to find any success here. We know what a phenomenal talent he is, but Obviously, early in title, Search can be the tough one to figure out. Huke, though, with the first blood. MajorManiak, though, on the other side, instantly on the kill feed as well. 3 versus 3 now as MajorManiak's just taking damage from what seems like every angle, but he'll tuck away in a pocket and stay alive for the moment. Another Empire player drops. It's just now on Crim and Shotzzy. Shotzzy, if you're going to step it up, now's got to be the time, and it's not going to happen. MajorManiak picks him off. aCuRacy gets the final kill, and it's 5-1. And my God, Joe, your keys to victory are looking rather accurate.
And it's tough sometimes. You know, you don't have a kill in a search and destroy, and round by round, it just feels like nothing's going your way, and you just want to get one on the scoreboard. And as those rounds sort of go, and you're 0-4, 0-5, it doesn't matter who you are. At times, you sort of lose that confidence to maybe challenge one of those one-on-ones that you normally would. And you kind of saw it there at times, and just tries to make a play happen. Not able to connect.
Well, Empire going to have to rip off 5 straight now. And the first blood's going to be so crucial for them. They've gotten several in rounds they've lost, but I think the big difference has been they haven't been clean, right? Like, who gets the first blood? There's a trade immediately after. Another kill then comes through for Røkkr, but now it's fast into a 2v2. Shotzzy just trying to catch somebody, but it's Crim looking over him that's able to get the kill. Empire finally get around in what seems like forever.
Well, it's a bit of desperation
since round
play.
2, right?
You know, Huke gets aggressive. I mean, they just play really aggressive. But these are the quick trades that we kind of want from this team, right? In the 3 versus 2, we didn't see that. You know, aCuRacy gets the 1 bullet. Nobody really flies out of top green. They don't double challenge. That doesn't happen. And maybe that's because, like, you know, Shotzzy is 0-5. Maybe if he's having a better game, that's a quicker decision.
He is a kill now, okay?
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, that's kind of what you want to see.
I know. And, you know, Shotzzy with bomb in hand, being bomb carrier at times can be difficult and on any map, and search and destroy, like, that's just not a fun role to play.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen him get, like, caught on the bomb. I mean,
no, not at all. I'm just saying, like, in general, that can be a tough position for sure. This time a little bit different, though. Pressure was building over towards A, but it looks like they're going to be wrapping back once they got some information. There's 2 of it. This is the double shot you were talking about, but the trade has to happen. The trade has got to happen. It doesn't. MajorManiak takes down both. Now Bomb, this is literally exactly what you were talking about earlier. Now Bomb down in a horrific position, 4-2 advantage. This map should be over.
Hey, I mean, basically MajorManiak just has to hope that nobody comes behind him. He actually gets bad timing. Crimson had the advantage, forced it 2 versus 2. He's worried.
Never over. It's never over.
He was worried with Priestahh going down that they were going to fly behind him. Huke, though, does get taken down by aCuRacy. Now a 1 versus 2 for Crim. The GOAT is going to get taken down. It's aCuRacy. It's the anchor. Minnesota Røkkr with a big upset over the Dallas Empire in a match that they needed.
And I think that is an exact example of why you've maybe, I know there's not been a ton of scrims to watch for various teams, but you may have heard it in various podcasts or from different tweets that a lot of people think this Røkkr team can be very, very good. And that's a big win within their division. They take out the top dogs in Empire. A huge, huge win. Because what, you think about their division, what? They've had to play Thieves and Empire. You'd argue probably what, like top 2 in their division? You go in 1-1? Great, right? You feel great about that, in my opinion.
Yeah, because you go 0-2, you basically, well, depending on what those 2 teams do, right, you get a little bit weird. But you're, at that point in my mind, you're probably fighting for 3rd seed, which you need. You need the 3rd seed starting winners bracket at our major. So, yeah, could have got a little crazy. But they're able to clutch on up. MajorManiak on our screen right now. I just think back to, the kickoff weekend. He had 2 double-digit search and destroys versus Toronto Ultra. Then right there, he was on 9. He got the 2 kills. Probably finished in double digits again. So, yeah, again, just play after play from the Minnesota Røkkr. One thing maybe to note. One thing to note that, you know, we talk about a lot. You can't always guarantee 2, 3, 5 wins because teams will pick up on the search and destroy strategies, try to hard counter you, back and forth, whatever it may be. Their hard point does have to improve. I'm sure they know it, but they get this win. it's positive momentum. It's something they were probably looking for. I'm sure everyone in their camp is thrilled.
Yeah, that was just a prime example of what we're thinking about Røkkr right now. Just can they get a little bit better in the hard points? And then they are a team that who the hell knows what their ceiling can be. But I would like to take a look at the scuff play of the game. I believe it's going to come from round 4. There were so many clutch plays that maybe it could have been accuracies, maybe attaches. We'll take a look and see who it is that goes huge. But check out the play. So, this is the one where attach gets the big 2. And before the trade comes in, then accuracy is able to clutch in the 1v1.
And it's tough, right? Because what I was saying is accuracy is basically playing the A side. He's just making sure that they don't flood out of top green. And when that happens, when you're sort of in that position, you might not see a lot of action on the defensive side for quite some time, or until your teammates die and you have to rotate over. So he gets put in those clutch situations. They trust him in the 1 versus 1s. He's able to win it there.
Well, quick question for you before we go to a break. Just like what is it about this team like that I guess they're able to be better at search than other teams early in titles? Just the composition of players they have?
Yeah, I think maybe they just think about it in a different way. It's a priority. I think for some teams, it's weird, but at times search and destroy isn't their main priority. They focus on those respawns, and maybe they put a little bit of search in, but I just think it's sort of their mindset going into that game mode. They all understand it. They understand the different situations in the maps and where they have to work, and it's paying off.
Well, it is a huge win for Røkkr. Still undefeated in search. They played their 2 toughest opponents in the division, and they are 1-1. You will take it. We're going to go to a quick break, but coming up next, we're going to have Lottie, Nameless, and Enable.
Røkkr certainly come to play.
They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop it.
Oh, Priestahh, disgusting. Accuracy's there, nice kill. Bang! MajorManiak, 200 IQ, 10 out of 10 play. Oh my word! Attach is going to save the day. Røkkr are kings of the north.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Call of Duty League now. Woo! What a match that was! Minnesota rocked the boat there against Dallas Empire. We've already of course seen London Royal Ravens versus Seattle Surge, and Minnesota Røkkr take down the juggernaut that we thought Dallas Empire was. And hey, they still could be, but I'll tell you what, Minnesota Røkkr looking pretty good right about now, but we do have our Game Fuel marquee match coming up next with OpTic versus FaZe, which is something to definitely look forward to. But hey, who knew what a game that was going to be? I gotta say, I love Minnesota Røkkr, but I really wasn't expecting that kind of ice coming out from them, especially their S&D game. I knew they'd be pretty good. I wasn't sure that they were going to be that good. I've also got Enable joining us on the desk. I'm very excited right now. I gotta talk to you, Ian. This is kind of wild to me. Minnesota Røkkr, they take the dub against Empire. Is this something that you thought you'd honestly see this early on?
Honestly, I wasn't expecting a Røkkr win here, Lottie. I wanted them to compete. That's it. But they looked unbelievable in the search and destroys. That's definitely their bread and butter game type. And they did what they had to do. They stole a respawn off of Dallas. And they looked great. You know, they can obviously still improve in hard points. They haven't won one yet in the league. But I think working on a respawn is a lot easier than S&D. So seeing them do this well in S&D early is a great sign for the rest of the year.
And that's what we talked about right before the series, right? Like, we were just hoping that this was going to be a competitive series and that Røkkr were going to show us that they deserve to be discussed in terms of contenders. And I think they did just that, right? Brought us down to earth a little bit on Empire, and, you know, seeing Priestahh and attached play like that in the respawns, that's what you want. Priestahh was the guy that we highlighted, that he can be hot and cold at times, and his first series versus Thieves was terrible, to be quite frank. And then he just turned up to a whole new level in that next series, and their search and destroy looks absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, Hardpoint needs some work, but they did just play the best Hardpoint team in the game, or at least so far from what we've seen. But yeah, I think there's and the Hardpoints were still pretty close too, right? So I think that Røkkr looks good right now.
That's true. They all need to be on the same page for sure. We've got to talk about Dallas Empire though. Nameless. Obviously, some of the boys weren't having the best day. Shotzzy, to name one, wasn't having a great game. Crimsix in some of those maps wasn't having a great game. Does this now change your mindset about Empire at all?
I think it just brings us down to earth a little bit, right? Like, after they won the World Championship, right, and all these guys were just dominant last year, and they come into this season, they win 3-0, 3-0, and we're like, okay, wow, these guys are just absolutely incredible. Well, we see them play a little bit of a tougher opponent, and they struggle a little bit, but the hardpoint still looks great, and their search and destroy will improve as the year goes on. I still have them as the team to beat right now, right? Like, I still think Empire is that best team in the game at this point. I think that this is what they needed, though. It's going to make them work even harder for that next championship.
And I have to agree. I mean, it was a little bit of a reality check, right? And every team needs that. Sometimes you need that because, like you said, they had so much success, especially last year. You know, they might not have been as hungry as they were. And it kind of looked like it. Shotzzy had a bad series. Crim didn't play that well. I think the only player who actually did good on Empire was Kyler.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be worried if I was a fan of them just because some of their superstars didn't play too hot. And it might actually help them in the long run.
Yeah, it definitely might. I think sometimes you've got to be brought back to earth a couple of times.
It helps. It helps more than it
go
hurts.
on to win. Yeah, for sure. Don't get too complacent. And Røkkr allowed that to happen. So maybe Dallas needs to thank them. Maybe after a few of the tears. Enable, you have been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for joining us this week. It has been an opening week and we couldn't have done it without you. So happy Valentine's Day, bro. We absolutely love you. And please come back again.
I had a blast. Okay? I had a blast with both of you guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll be back. We'll see. We'll see.
I like that. Okay. Mysterious Enable. Love it. We're going to head to a quick break right now, but when we come back, we're going to speak to Accuracy, the man who was part of the team that took down Dallas Empire. We'll be back right after this. Hello everybody and welcome to the Game Fuel Spotlight. Now I am joined by the man of the hour, Accuracy from Minnesota Røkkr. I gotta say, dude, that was one hell of a game. My goodness. I'm gonna be real with you as well. I wasn't expecting that outcome. Dallas have been looking so good. I was a little worried for a second, but wow, you guys really came up to par there on that level, and I was very impressed. I want to know though, what was it like heading into that match? It was so tough. Where were your heads at going into it?
Our heads were up and confident always, and you can't get down on yourself after one loss like we had versus LA Thieves. So we just knew like that series looked a lot worse than it really was. So we just went over some VOD, cleaned up on some mistakes, tried getting more on the same page in certain situations. And we knew that if we came in, played our game, performed at our best, we could take them down.
Absolutely. I mean, talking about certain situations, Control and Garrison, your defense was on point. You really looked like you had their number for a second. They just couldn't get you guys out of it. So talk to me about the game plan heading into that one. How did you guys maintain composure to take that map?
We were up 2-0, I'm pretty sure, and we got really excited. We let a round slip away from us real quick, and then we lost the next break off, I'm pretty sure. And we realized like, hey, we're kind of in a tough situation. At worst, let's just try to get to a round 5 on defense. And so we just stuck to the game plan, ended up securing defense, and from there we just had like a nice confidence boost, and we knew as long as we just play our game right here on this defense like we know how to do, we can end up closing the map out.
Fantastic stuff. Well, Accuracy, thank you so much. I'm hoping your hard point goes back to the drawing board. We need to see some more of those respawn games come through. But really excited for you guys and what you're achieving. So best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We are going to head to a break right now, but when we come back, we have our Game Fuel marquee match lined up. We've got Maven and Merc waiting in the wings, and we've got to find out who's going to be winning this game. So we'll see you after the break.
They say credit belongs to the man in the arena who spends himself in a worthy cause. The glory is reserved for the few